If you have a toddler that's not eating very well or all of a sudden has become picky, you are not alone. A lot of parents notice that around a child's first birthday or so, maybe around age 2 even, kids just become really picky. They don't like foods they used to like, or they may get on kicks where they only want to eat certain foods. Maybe they just hone in on 1 or 2 foods and eat those day after day after day after day. And so if your child is going through this, know that it's completely normal. There are things that you can do to help your child go through this picky phase and to help make it not last as long. In other words, don't encourage it. It's important to understand that after a child turns 1, they actually don't need as much food as they did during the first year. So they may have seen ravenous and always wanted to eat during that first year, and then after their first birthday, it slows down a little bit. A child only needs about 1,000 calories a day at the age of 1, and that's not that much food. So we may be trying to feed them more than they actually need, giving us the perception that they're not eating enough. But if you think about 1,000 calories, it really isn't that much, and it's spread over breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack in the morning and a snack in the afternoon. Ultimately, your job as a parent is to offer healthy food options at each of these meal times, and it's great if you can sit down and make it family mealtime. This helps a child to understand healthy eating habits. Make it a time where you all sit down together and there are no distractions, including phones and TVs. This will also discourage children from eating. And as they grow older, it's not only a time to eat, but it's a time to be together and to socialize and to make memories together. So it's important for a lot of reasons to eat together. If you find that you're cooking these dinners and your child isn't eating anything, don't stop cooking new food and introducing it. Research has shown that children may actually need to be introduced a certain food 10 to 15 times before they'll actually like it. And so don't stop. Persistence will pay off. The worst thing you can do is make something separate for your child, because this will only encourage the picky eating. And before you know it, they'll be 6, 7, 8 and still wanting you to make a separate dinner. So try to stop that behavior when the child is young. Of course, if there is a certain thing that they do like, you can include that in the meal, but also encourage them to eat other food as well. Young toddlers often tend to eat a lot of food for breakfast and lunch and maybe not for dinner, or they ate a really big dinner last night and so they may not need a big breakfast the next morning. So if you notice that your child is like cluster eating and getting more at one meal and not so much the next, that's okay. And sometimes toddlers even tend to get their nutrition in days at a time. So for example, they may load up on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and not eat as much on Thursday and Friday. These are normal behaviors and trends. It's just important that your child is getting what they need overall. One of the worst things you can do is make food time a fight, because if a child starts to develop negative feelings towards food, then they may dislike foods that they would have liked otherwise, and they may be less likely to try them. As tempting as it might be, avoid offering dessert as a reward for eating healthy food, because then it makes eating healthy food seem like a chore, and actually eating the healthy food is the reward, and that's what nourishes us and makes us run efficiently. There's a lot of different ways that you can involve your kids in planning meals too, even at a young age. When you take them to the grocery store, let them pick out fruits and vegetables from the produce section, and you can also teach them colors by doing this. When you go home, you can involve them in the planning and the prep, and you can teach them to count by counting out different things that you're using while you make the meal. And there are age-appropriate things that they can help you with while cooking. For example, maybe they can help you stir things that aren't hot or going to burn them or hurt them, or they can use a brush to brush on cooking oil. There's a lot of different ways that you can involve them and make it fun. And again, like I said before, after you've cooked it together, you can sit down and eat it together. Kids are all about colors. They're all about making food fun. So if there's anything you can do to make vegetables and fruits more appealing, do it. One of the things that we've probably all seen in magazines or even eaten ourselves is like celery with peanut butter on it and little raisins that look like bugs. And boys will literally eat this up. And so as they get older and they can eat celery and it's not going to cause a choking hazard, these are fun things that you can do with them, especially for snack time, or just simply arrange food on their plate in an aesthetic way that makes it fun to eat. Ultimately, remember that your responsibility as a parent is to offer healthy food options at each meal and for snacks, and your child is going to determine what and how much they're going to eat. So as long as they have healthy options, you are doing the best that you can do. If you have specific concerns and questions about your child, you feel like they're not meeting certain developmental milestones, you're worried about their growth, or just feel like they're not getting the nutrition that they need, talk with your pediatrician about it. And after asking you more specific questions and assessing their growth and development, they'll be able to give you tailored information and advice and determine if further investigation or intervention is warranted. And by the way, if you are concerned about it, start keeping a food journal now. And that's really helpful to be able to give this to the doctors so that they can see a history of what your child's actually eating and what you've offered. If you have more questions in the future for me, feel free to ask them on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Intermountain Moms and recommend us to your friends and family too.